Cast. The Cast.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe.
Scott McDermott.
I was bit by a black widow in Hamul in my sleep.
Harrison Perkins.
Every muscle in my body is clenching right now.
And
Scott Clark.
You know, I would like to get to know a tarantula.
their mission to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Friends.
Good morning, Vietnam!
We'll do it live. No, we'll do it live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
You see, through some error, you built your house on my property. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to move it, Doc.
What? Ooh, listen, Rabbit. Yosemite Sam never makes a mistake. Now get that flea-bitten carcass off in my real estate. And stay out!
Now, look here. You don't think you can get away with this, do you?
Shut up!
Okay, I'm shutting up. Why should I continue to keep yapping when I'm told to shut up? I'm not the kind that don't know when to stop.
Shut up, shutting up!
Well, gentlemen.
A lot just happened.
I like that he says, shut up, shutting up. That made me laugh. Anyway, so that was the irredoubtable Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam. Features from my childhood. Were they on television every day when you were a kid? They were pretty much every day for me.
I was not on television every day as a kid, so I couldn't tell you. I definitely enjoyed Bugs Bunny quite a bit. He was my favorite character.
Okay. Were you weren't watching television every day, or you weren't on television?
Both.
Okay. Every day after school, unless it was really nice out or something. But, during the winter, come home from school, turn on the television. And on a good day, Mom would give us a little bowl of chocolate chips. So that was a good day after school. Chocolate chips, because I'm sure that was so healthy. and cartoons. And we watched the cartoons.
I grew up in San Diego, so we had sun every day.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had sports year round.
So you were probably busy.
Quite.
My wife as a child was at orchestra and things. So she had limited interaction with after school television.
What instrument?
She's a cellist.
That's my favorite instrument.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a beautiful instrument. Makes a wonderful sound.
My favorite piece of music is Bach. Cello suites.
Yeah, very nice. Anyway, yeah, shut up, shutting up. That made me laugh.
We are in a phase in my house of Bluey.
Oh.
My son likes Bluey.
Not a bad phase.
I've heard about Bluey, but I don't have direct experience of Bluey since I don't have small children.
It's actually good. I actually do like it. I may not opt for it independent of him.
You would not sit down and start looking for Bluey on television.
Probably not, but I don't mind. I mean, I will, not every time he's watching it, but I will watch it, and it's good. It is good. I think it's well done. I've not seen anything that, is out of place. Lots of kids shows have.
Yeah, problematic, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything that's subliminal or pushing a progressive message in it. I'm thankful for that. I actually do think it's kind of funny. I mean, there are humorous moments. I like the dad, Bandit, is funny. He's an archaeologist, which is an implicit joke because they're dogs.
Yeah, exactly.
And so he digs for bones.
Oh, nice.
He's an archaeologist.
Well, sometimes in the better cartoons, the children's cartoons, they will embed some humor for mom and dad.
There is some.
Who are also watching these things with their kids.
And it's not, I think it is a well done show. And if you're watching with your kid.
Is Bluey a dog?
He's a blue heeler.
He's a blue heeler. Ah, okay.
It's she.
Oh.
Which was a curveball. It is a girl. So it's a mom, a dad, and two girls.
Okay.
Bingo is a girl.
There's a red heeler and a blue heeler.
Bandit, Chili, Bluey, and Bingo. and it's Australian.
Oh,
Australian cattle dog.
okay.
Yeah, a blue tick healer is an Australian cattle dog.
And these
That's what
are
they're-
cartoons, right?
Same breed.
No, it's a reality show
Oh,
about a talking dog that does archaeology and lives in Australia and raises his family, has a house, and works from home. It's a reality show.
Yes, just like Yosemite Sam is a real cowboy.
as I say, I've heard people talking
And
about
Bugs
Bluey,
Bunny.
but I haven't seen it, so I didn't know whether it was
It's a cartoon.
whether it was
Sorry.
puppets or cartoons, or I was pretty sure when you said reality show that would be news. This is CBS News. Bluey is real. Bluey is an Australian blue healer who actually talks. Film at 11. That would be pretty spectacular.
Are you sure he's a girl?
Were that the case?
Yeah, but it's not a he. She is a girl.
Have you been watching Bluey with Thea?
I've seen it. I've seen an episode
Okay.
or two.
It's two daughters.
It's two girls. That's
Yeah.
Hmm.
Bluey and Bingo.
well. The red healer's pretty clearly a girl.
Scott has genuinely
Just
stumped.
fried your circuits.
No,
Yeah, it's a
there's no
girl.
circuits. There's no circuits left.
The
I just thought it was a boy.
the circuits are all burnt out.
It's a girl.
See,
Girl.
that gets us back to last week's episode and coffee. This is what coffee will do to you. Fries your circuits.
Not having enough,
Well,
or just.
for me, if I drink it, it fries my circuits.
Did you guys have a good 4th of July? Did you guys burn your hands off? Or
I didn't lose any digits.
Mm.
Hands are still in place.
There was
How about your faces? Your faces get burnt off, or are you good?
well, my face is fine. It's it is what it is. But no, there was no fire, no burning, no damage. If my face had been burned off, I probably wouldn't be doing this episode.
You hear that, everyone? It's July 11th, and nothing happened in his neighborhood. Isn't
It's
that
just,
great?
or at least the Heidel video would be going away.
Well, yes, exactly. Well, yes. Now, Jay Leno has had his face replaced twice. Yeah, he's had 2 terrible accidents. I think both on motorcycles, and I'm not sure. No, the first one was working on a car, and there was a fire, and he was burned badly, and they had to give him a new face. He's quite wealthy, and he's able to afford this kind of plastic surgery, and so he came out looking really well. And the second time, he was on a motorcycle, and he ran into a chain. And I don't remember exactly how that happened, but he called up his plastic surgeon and said, I need another face. So anyway, he looks fine.
Yeah, he looks great. I just looked him up.
Otherwise,
Looks fine.
he does.
Well, recently he got beat up by.
The floor.
Well, no, he fell down a hill. That was
Yeah.
the story.
So, yeah. Well, that happens.
Did you say that happens?
Yeah, falling down hills. It does happen. Just wait.
That's-
Your day is coming. Yeah,
Well, thankfully, where I live, there are no hills.
falling happens.
We're 1 foot below sea level in the entire thumb.
Oh, wow. Okay. So digging, if you dig a little bit, does
We end up in New Zealand.
water start? I mean, if you're in New Orleans and you start digging, it's not long before water starts percolating up. So, right, that's why the
They
cemeteries
built a city in a sink.
Yes, well, that's why the cemeteries are above ground, because you can't dig. So that's why I'm asking if. In bad acts, if you start digging, will you run into water quickly since you're below sea level?
Yeah, it's a giant swamp.
Oh, interesting. Does that help with farming?
It's a great farming area.
Okay.
It used to be all lumber. It was a lumber area, and then the whole place went up in flames.
Oh.
And then they're like, well, I guess we're farmers now.
Yeah, I guess. So what do you know when this fire, the Great Fire of when?
1778 and 81, I believe.
Oh, wow, twice.
Or 77. Yeah, it was two. They're like, let's try it again. Let's be lumber barons. And then another fire came through. They're like, yeah, I think we'll just be farmers.
Oh, interesting. So the Great Fire of 1778, and then the second Great Fire of 1781 pretty much wiped out the lumber business in Bad Axe. Are there still a lot of trees in Bad Axe?
Well, we're talking about the whole whole county.
Oh, okay.
The whole county went up in flames.
But is it
the whole county used to be a lumber
Yeah.
area. The whole county is now just
farming.
farmland.
Is it?
There are trees.
Is it still relatively heavily? I think when I think of Michigan, I think of a place that's heavily forested.
Well, it used to be. There are certain little areas, but
Up north.
it's not as,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
They have-
1881.
Oh, 81. Okay. Well, out by you, Harrison, there are a lot of trees, at least out where your elder lives, where we went for dinner. It seemed very heavily forested out by the lake. Isn't there a lake?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I felt like I was in the boundary waters up by Canada. It was beautiful. I know I wasn't, but
There are certain areas where the heavier laked region of this part of Michigan, it's hard to sort of clear and build, and the roads are super windy and stuff. So there will be a lot of trees.
okay.
I was about to say excessive trees, but that seems like not the way to say that.
You can't. Yeah. Can you have too many trees? So where we are,
No.
it's not very heavily forested, but the Cleveland National Forest isn't too far away. If you drive for about 90 minutes, you can get to a forest. Or I can go up Mount Palomar.
That confused me because Cleveland, Ohio is close-ish to us, and that was the Cleveland in my mind, but you meant
Yeah.
President Cleveland.
Yeah.
Grover.
Cleveland.
This is the Heidelcast.
Is the puppet named after him?
Grover?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I assume that the name
On Sesame Street?
Yes. The Muppet. Grover, baby. Yeah.
You're talking about that television program where the Muppets
Yeah.
live in the barrio?
Sesame Street. They live on Sesame Street.
Yeah, Sesame Street.
That's a Dwight Schrute quote.
Oh,
That's okay.
okay.
Oh, my bad.
I hadn't thought of Sesame Street. I mean, it was clearly urban. Now, that being said, I haven't watched Sesame Street for probably
Nor should you.
50 years. So, although I did very much like the Muppet Show when it was on television. And I have seen some Muppet movies, which I enjoyed very much.
Probably should admit to these things.
Why?
So, supposedly,
the Muppets
the
were
first
great.
season or two of Sesame Street was a bit rougher than, like, there's kind of a controversy around Sesame Street early days.
Yeah, it was fairly, I was too old for it when it came on. But again, it was the 70s and there wasn't much to do. And there was a lot of harsh weather. And so whatever was on television. So we used to watch Zoom and sometimes Sesame Street because it was really well done. I mean, I know people criticized it for being, too many flashing lights and, jump cuts and it was going to, damage the attention span of children and all of that. I don't know what the evidence is, but anyway, it was new. I remember when it came out, it was pretty exciting in a way, visually. I was aimed at children that were younger than I at the time. But as I say, it was the 70s. So we watched it. Yeah, that was my initial impression. It was kind of an urban setting.
On September 5th, 1881, a fire broke out in the town of Bad Axe. The exact cause is unknown, but it quickly spread due to strong winds. I told you guys about the winds here. Fueled by the region's dense forests and early lumber industry infrastructure. The flames moved swiftly to nearby Huron City and Grindstone City, and by September 7th had consumed much of Huron, Tuscola, Sanilac, and Lapeer counties.
That's not good.
282 people were killed, 5,000 were left homeless. Lumber mills, homes, and camps were all destroyed, and it literally changed the whole demographic of the area. It went from being lumber, and then they brought in a bunch of, after that, I believe, German immigrants, and then later Polish immigrants, and it turned into a corn, beans, beets farming area. So that's the story of the Great Fire.
Oh,
now
interesting.
Now you know the rest.
The rest of the story. Very good.
And now we have no listeners.
In 2005, they had to change Cookie Monster's diet to include fruits and vegetables because they thought he encouraged childhood obesity.
No.
Yeah, it was Cookie Monster's fault.
Oh,
That's the only controversy on here that actually stood out to me as worth reporting.
NBC News. Cookie Monster facilitated childhood diabetes. and is now no longer Cookie Monster. He's the Fruit Monster. That does it.
And veggies.
And he's the Fruit and Veggie Monster.
The occasional cookie.
Yes.
That dude was my favorite character.
Yeah.
They turned him into a fruit monster.
Yeah. And a veggie monster. A fruit and veggie monster. Yeah. Well, it's a fallen world. All good things are corrupted in this world.
Well, hopefully Oscar is still Oscar the Grouch. They didn't change that, did they?
I think they did, actually. I think they started
Oscar the what now?
Mildly discontented Muppet or something.
They put him on
they put him on SSRs or SSIs.
Yeah, they put him on they put him on those antidepressants.
Yeah, so he's Oscar the heavily medicated Muppet.
Yeah. Now he's like, hey guys, why do I live in a trash can?
But if you're heavily medicated enough, maybe it doesn't matter where you live. So interesting.
I don't know. I think they've still let him be the Grouch.
Is he
Oscar the Grouch represents the validity of negative emotions, the necessity of personal boundaries, and the acceptance of diverse perspectives and personalities.
Interesting.
My two favorite characters were Oscar and Cookie Monster. I think that explains a lot about me. I am both fat and angry.
We have not experienced that with you.
What, fat anger?
Well, I've never seen you when somebody said, no, you may not have any cookies. So maybe
because no one would ever say that to me.
Okay, maybe things they take a dark turn right away. So, all right.
I'm a fat obese.
I don't think that's true.
Or as my wife says, you're an obese.
How's Thea, by the way?
The best.
Oh, good. And how's Scott?
Yeah, he wasn't feeling well last week. It was weird because he had a temperature, but no other symptoms. Or he'd be like really tired, but no other symptoms.
Yeah, some
He's
virus.
bouncing back now, but it was a weird several days of pretty high temperatures. Kind of worrying, but glad that he's back on track today.
Their little temperature regulation systems are not fully developed. So the temperatures can be unusual. They can spike a temp pretty easily.
Well, he was taking a nap too. Like it was, for him to take naps for days in a row means.
Yeah, he's not feeling well.
Yeah.
He's better now.
He'd prefer never to sleep if possible. So
yes.
For him to take an hours long nap is like, okay, you don't feel good.
Yeah. Well, I remember that. I remember not wanting to nap. And now some days that's all I want to do.
Seriously.
The other day we were looking at some videos about how to make homemade graham crackers because it's becoming the company that used to make my favorite graham crackers either doesn't make them or anyway, they're not available on this part of the world. So we were trying to figure out how to make them. And as we were watching these videos, and they were kind of interesting, but we were watching them and it was after lunch and I just dropped off. So I thought I need to take a nap, which,
it's funny when I was little, thought I can't wait to be older so that I can stay up as late as I want and not have to go to bed at 8:30.
Yes.
Turns out when you get older, the time you want to go to bed
is 8:30.
Is 8:30.
Yeah.
But although it turns out you're still not allowed to go to bed when you would choose to go to bed.
Exactly, yes.
It's just the other direction. When you were little, you would stay up later given the choice. Now I'd go to bed earlier, but there are things to be done.
Yeah. Well, the Heidel dog starts herding us to bed. It depends. Sometimes as early as 8:30, she thinks it's time to go to bed. But
is she in charge?
Well, she has a certain authority around here because she has a very penetrating bark. And so
there is a sense in which she is in charge.
Yes, there is a sense in which she's in charge. Well, she wants her before bed outdoor
snack
visit and then her before bed treat. And so she gets a little whey and she gets some dried chicken, her chickie treats. She likes that very much.
At this point, she's kind of like an only child.
Well, yeah, she's an only dog, that's for sure. And
she's spoiled by her
yes,
grandparents, like the way the grandparents would spoil an only
yeah,
an
absolutely.
Only child.
She's spoiled, and she's 11 and a half.
Oh my goodness!
So she's set in her doggy ways. There are certain ways to do things, and so that's how things are going to be done. So what the thinking is, I don't know. If we go to bed now, we can get up and we can eat in the morning. Maybe that's what the thinking is. I don't know what goes on inside of her doggy brain, but anytime after 8:30, at least she wants to go outside, and then usually she wants to go to bed. She's older now, so we got her stairs so that she can climb up and get into bed.
Oh, does the dog sleep in the bed with you?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, we've had it both ways. We've had some that were kenneled, and we've had some that were on the bed. So I think it was helpful for her not to be kenneled. So the way she was initially raised had some negative effects on her.
I've never had either. I've never had a dog kenneled or in my bed.
Yeah.
We gave them their portion of the house,
Yeah.
You could roam around, but they would generally sleep for like 8 to 12 hours if you let them.
Oh yeah. No, she can sleep a long time. All right.
Should we cough it up?
Yeah, let's open the
That's how we'll say it from now on.
Yeah, let's open up the mailbag.
The coffin.
Yeah.
Get in the coffin.
Right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Friends. It's me. Can you hear me? Good, because I can't hear a thing in this wetsuit. You might think that a guy who lives in a box would do something a little less claustrophobic on vacation, but here I am. It's one thing for me to be underwater, but it's another thing for the HRA to be underwater. If the Heidelcast or Heidelblog helps you, won't you help us help you? Make the coffer clink by clicking on the donate link or by sending a check to the Heidelberg Reformation Association, 1637 East Valley Parkway, number 391, Escondido, California, 92027. Gotta go. Here comes that pesky eel. Call or text now, 760-618-1563.
All right, let's open up the coffer. There it is, and this is from Mackay, who says, "Hello, Dr. Clark." Oh, no mention of you, too.
Yeah, we get it. We get it.
And
you just have to answer it.
And that's it.
Hello, Dr. Clark. Question for you. But I'm going to consult you, men, as well, my super friends. And he says, is making a statue a sin in and of itself, like a statue to a deceased president or anything else?
Depends on which president.
Someone cited Exodus 20, verse 4, and says it's always put in a negative light and no one should make any statue of anyone or anything. What are your thoughts? And also maybe the reformers. It sounds like it's saying don't make anything. Does that also mean family photos or just something that's carved? So that's from Mackay. All right, so what about statues, family photos? Do either of you guys have Exodus 20, verse 4 in front of you? I have it if you don't.
I will get it.
Oh, I have it here. Do not make an idol for yourself, whether this is from the ESV, whether in the shape of anything in the heavens above or on the earth below or in the waters under the earth. You must not bow down to them or worship them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the father's sin to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing faithful love to 1,000 generations of those who love me and keep my commandments. So that's Exodus 20, verses 4 through 6. So it would seem to me that the context is pretty clear in verse 4. Do not make an idol for yourself, whether in the shape of anything in heavens above or in the earth below. That would not seem to be a categorical prohibition of any kind of artwork or photography or representation, but just a prohibition on the creation of representations for religious purposes. And I think that
You said that was the ESV?
yeah, I believe so. Hold on. Is it?
He's been reading a different translation, but that's okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the Holman Christian Standard Bible. I changed that to look at something, and I forgot to change it back. So that's the CSB, not the ESV.
Yeah, the ESV doesn't even have idol. It just says
Carved image.
Carved image. Okay, sorry.
which can be translated idol. It's just,
yeah.
it didn't say that.
So thank you. I forgot. I did switch that over to the CSB for something, and I didn't switch back. I'm looking here at the Heidelberg Catechism, which does speak to the question of idolatry and images. So if I start in question 95, Lord's Day 34, idolatry is to conceive or have something else in which to place our trust instead of or besides the one true God who has revealed himself in his word. And then so that's in reference to the first commandment. And then in reference to the second commandment, Lord's Day 35, question 96, what does God require in the second commandment? That we in no way make any image of God nor worship him in any other way than he has commanded us in his word. And that's the rule of worship applied to images. And then 97 speaks specifically to this question: may we not make any image at all? And the answer is God may not and cannot be imaged in any way. As for creatures, though they may indeed be imaged, yet God forbids the making or keeping of any likeness of them, either to worship them or to serve God by them. Well, that would be the approach of the Reformed churches. And then 98, just to finish the Lord's Day, but may not pictures be tolerated in churches as books for the people, which is the position advocated by Gregory I, Bishop of Rome. No, for we should not be wiser than God, who will not have his people taught by mute idols, but by the lively preaching of his word. So there's the Heidelberg 97 specifically speaks to the question of whether we can make images generally. You were going to say, Scott?
Even in the context of temple worship, images are allowed in certain cases.
Yeah.
So it's not just a forbidding of all images anywhere at any time at all. It's pretty specific. It's with respect to God and with respect to the worship of God.
Yeah.
And so no images of God, full stop, and no images for worship, that you would not bow down to them, unless, of course, God has said, and you'll put this image in the temple or in the altar, and then we do it. And that, again, is called the rule of worship or the regulative principle of worship. That was all I wanted to say.
But even then, none of those are to depict God. I mean, this is one of the distinctions, right? It's like, are you allowed to make a picture or, are you allowed to create an image of a tree? Yes. Are you allowed to create an image of that same tree if the intent is as a representation of the Godhead? No.
Yeah. Or to use it to worship God by it. Right? If you make an image of a tree and you say, well, that we know this isn't God, but we're going to use this as a way to approach God, then we would say, no, you may not make that image, and you certainly may not bring it into the church, and you may not use it in that way. If you want to paint trees, that's fine, right? If you want to draw trees, represent trees, take photographs of trees or your family or anything else, that's fine. So the question is intent.
Hug a tree.
If you want to hug a tree, that's fine.
Plant a tree.
Yes, you can plant trees.
Trim, prune.
Yes, and even cut them down and make things with them. That's all fine.
Just not idols.
Just not idols. That's right.
Or graven images.
That's right. You can make things with them, but you may accept idols. You may not make idols of them. So that's important.
Called idolatry.
So I've had this question that is related. How do you men answer the question that comes, well, if God commissioned the use of figures, images of created things in the temple, then why can't we do that today? How do you answer that? Because you use the word regulative principle, Scott.
Yes. Do you want me to answer, or Harrison, you want to go?
Well, you leaned forward like you were going to say something.
Oh, that's just how I sit now. It's my new way of sitting. I sit actually like this.
I need a new walk.
He was hunching over.
Thinking about getting a new walk.
Really? Well,
no, it's a line.
Yes, really.
Oh, is this from Friends or from?
From Friends. Yeah,
Okay.
Joey comes in one day and he goes, "Do I need a new walk? I'm thinking about getting a new walk."
But randomly.
Okay. Well, the physical therapist did actually teach me to walk differently. So,
My chiropractor gave me a new walk.
yeah. Really? Is that, are you being serious?
No, but that's kind of their job.
Okay. Well,
I
that's
probably
right.
need a new walk, just like Joey.
As it turns out, I was not walking correctly and had never walked correctly in my whole life. So I actually, when I walk, I walk somewhat rapidly, but not as quickly as the Heidelfrau, who goes very quickly for long distances. I can't keep up with her, but I have to practice walking correctly so that I don't hurt my back.
Even though you lived in Oxford, you never had a speedy, brisk walk?
I did, but I wasn't doing it correctly. And I was
He
putting
has the wrong gait.
I did. The way that we were taught to do these things when I was a kid was not always very helpful. Vague expressions were used. For example, in playing basketball, we were always taught, catch the ball with your fingertips. Well, that's not actually accurate. If you catch the ball with your fingertips, you will break your fingers. You catch the ball and you handle it with the pads on your fingers, right? Not your fingertips. So there was a certain imprecision. And Dad always used to say, pick up your feet. And what he actually meant to say, or what he should have said, is push off with your feet. And I wasn't actually doing that. I never did it. And so I ended up damaging my back because I didn't walk correctly.
Speaking of correctly,
Yes.
worship.
Yes. Back to worship. Yes.
He's talking pig Latin. I don't know what he's saying.
Oh, stop that double talk. I want to hear the Lone Ranger.
Certainly.
Okay. So with that palate cleanser, back to worship.
Temple worship.
So why is it okay to make, obviously God said do these things, but why, if he said make these things and put them in the Holy of Holies, why are we not allowed to do that now?
Wow, there's so many great ways to answer that question.
Pick one.
I think because, well, you answered it in the question. If he said it then, why can't we do it now? Well, he didn't say do it now. The new covenant is not the old covenant. If in the new covenant he said do this thing, we would then do it.
Yeah.
But the old covenant has passed away. All of the types and
Also,
shadows.
he said do it differently.
Can you elaborate on that, Dr. Perkins?
I mean, we're not supposed to worship in the temple anymore.
Yeah.
That's been done away with. And I probably jumped in too quickly because Scott was just mentioning the types and shadows have been fulfilled. So I just don't want to leave us with the impression that we start with the New Testament and the Old Testament doesn't inform our approach to the regulative principle and church practices in the New Covenant, as if we're just de novo coming from scratch in the New Covenant. And I know that that's not what Scott meant, but it is true that he didn't say to do that. And also, he has said some of the things involving the question in front of us have changed. He changed it.
He being
God.
okay. Just to make sure everybody understands what we're saying here. So is it the case that because God said, put these things in the Holy of Holies or put these things in the tabernacle or the temple, that we are then therefore authorized to, or that the Israelites are authorized to do those things in their houses, or they were authorized to do them in the synagogue? Because I think sometimes people are a little sloppy in their application of those instructions, and they draw inferences from those instructions that I don't think are warranted. But we need to walk through that so that people can see that it's not arbitrary. That's my concern, that people understand that when we say, no, you may not do that, it's not just arbitrary. It's not because, well, we don't like it, therefore you may not do it. It's because it's an inappropriate use of those biblical passages and that biblical instruction.
Well, one thing to note is that none of the features of the temple that might seem pictorial in a way, none of them were depicting God.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, that's because actually the most pointed thing in the Holy of Holies was about God's presence, and it was empty space on top of the mercy seat in between two cherubim. empty space, and that's where God was, because we don't depict him and never have. So that's an important feature. And God's people weren't worshiping those images nor worshiping through them. They were just features that, I mean, we still have visual features of our worship space, and those aren't pictures, at least in Presbyterianism, but it is a visual feature to have the pulpit prominent, the Lord's table carefully and purposefully placed when we're having the Lord's Supper. Those are visual features of our worship space that make a point. Not that we worship the pulpit or the table or anything like that, but they make a point about worshiping God. And I mean, I would put some of the visual features of the temple in the same categories.
The best podcast, the Hylocast.
Can I press you a little bit on this?
Okay.
Because I've had people challenge me on this. So Exodus 20 says, don't make any creatures for the purposes of worshiping God through them or by them. But Exodus 25 says, verse 18, again, I haven't changed versions here on my phone. This is from the CSB, Christian Standard Bible. Make 2 cherubim of gold. Make them of hammered work at the 2 ends of the mercy seat. Make 1 cherub at one end and 1 cherub at the other. At its 2 ends, make the cherubim of 1 piece with the mercy seat. The cherubim are to have wings spread out above, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and they are to face one another. The faces of the cherubim should be toward the mercy seat. And set the mercy seat on top of the ark, and put the testimony that I will give you into the ark. I will meet with you there above the mercy seat, between the 2 cherubim that are over the ark of the testimony. I will speak with you from there about all that I command you regarding the Israelites. So how, just to make sure that the listener understands what we're doing here, how do we relate this passage in Exodus 25 with what we read in Exodus 20, verses 4 through 6? Is there any contradiction there, any tension there, or not? And if not, why not?
I think that the thing in view in Exodus 20 is about representations of God.
Okay, that's the first thing.
Well, but I think the prohibition for those other things are, okay, so first, don't pretend you know what God looks like.
Yes.
But then also, don't use any other earthly thing and pretend God looks like that either.
Yes. Okay, that's important. So it's not an absolute prohibition.
Because what happens, just after this, they don't think God looks like a cow, but they say, let's make a calf, and that'll do the trick. So, I mean, we have contextual reasons to be like, okay, it's not that they thought a worm was God, or concretely, not hypothetically. It's not that they thought a cow was God, or even that they thought God looked like a cow, but like, we'll just make a cow and that'll be our stand-in. And I think that that's what's in view here. Don't make something that represents God, whether that be an invented image or something that really exists, that you're going to then say, here's our stand-in, and we direct our worship to God, even to the real God, through this. And the other visual features of the temple weren't meant to represent God.
You're not a Levitical priest. You're not in the Holy of Holies under the types and shadows. I mean, who actually saw these things? Nobody except the Levitical priests ever saw these things. So they were not universally authorized. They were authorized for a very specific purpose in a very specific time for a very specific reason. And as Scott was saying, they were all intentionally temporary, typological, pointing forward to Christ, who is the temple and who is serving now as our high priest in the true Holy of Holies. So one of the functions of that at the time was to point upward, so forward to Christ, but also upward to the heavenly reality. So it was never intended to be used generally. It was never intended to create license to do, other things that we wanted to do. We might like to do. We might, people like to say, or people say, oh, wouldn't it be nice if we did X? That was the first thing that someone said when they made the golden calf. They said, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be impressive? Wouldn't it be powerful? Couldn't we represent God's power by making a calf, a golden calf?
Hey, bro, check out this new fire I've got.
Yes, this unauthorized fire. So those are all important qualifiers. And that's why, in part, Heidelberg says in 97, yet God forbids the making or keeping of any likeness of them, either to worship them, so that's out, because those things aren't God, obviously, and they aren't authorized by God to represent him, or, right, so we say, or to serve God by them. We don't have divine authorization to make these things, to use these things, because they had a very specific purpose, and they fulfilled their purpose.
Even like some of the almond branch designs and stuff. I mean, that's a design on a functional tool. You know, it's holding oil.
Yeah.
Let's think about it this way. Prior to Yahweh speaking to them and saying, here's how you shall set up the tabernacle and everything in the tabernacle, did they use those things prior to that? Did they do all that stuff prior to that? Or did they, when they worshiped?
I think that to make those things, I may have misunderstood your question.
Okay, so they're worshiping in the temple a particular way. It's very particular. They did it. There's visual things. There's practical things. There's a lot of stuff that goes into the temple and the tabernacle. The question I'm asking is, did they worship that way with all of those things prior to God saying to do it? No. Moses was given the law at Sinai, and part of the law, part of the covenant, are these very particular aspects of worship. And it's meant to be a picture of heavenly worship. And many of those aspects are also in paradise, the Garden of Eden. So you've got these images that God says very particularly in this covenant given at Sinai, here is how you are to do it. They didn't do those things prior because God had not said to worship him in that way. They're only doing it because he said, worship me in this way. And of that covenant, we have to remember what Hebrews says. It's Hebrews 8:13. With respect to a new covenant, God is making the first one
obsolete.
And what is becoming obsolete and growing old is ready to vanish away. And indeed it did in 70 AD. Just in case you weren't paying attention, there is no more temple.
Yeah.
I got rid of it.
Yeah.
That's part of the judgment. And so these aspects of worship, all of the little intricate things of the old covenant, there's a reason why we call it the old covenant.
Yeah. That's a great point. So if somebody brought a lamb to church and said, you know, this is what we used to do, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be a wonderful illustration of, you know, God's salvation if we slaughtered a lamb and sprinkled blood, or if we brought in bowls of blood as they did in Exodus 24, and we put a hyssop branch in the bowls that we sprinkled all the people? Wouldn't that be a powerful lesson for the people about what God accomplished in Christ? And the answer to that question is, well, it certainly would be memorable.
Yeah. The answer is everyone sit down and listen, because instead of the sermon I was going to preach, I'm just going to read the sermon to the Hebrews.
Yeah.
And you're all going to listen. And if you still don't get it, then there's a Pentecostal church down the street. Go do that kind of stuff there.
Well, you know, these things have to be explained, but we know almost intuitively, oh no, we wouldn't do that, right? We wouldn't bring a lamb in a worship service.
We know intuitively because we've read the Bible.
Yes, that's right.
We've read all of it, and especially the sermon to the Hebrews.
That's right. It belongs to the types and shadows. It pointed forward to Christ. But even if you couldn't, when I say intuitively, I mean, obviously it's in light of all that we know from Scripture, even if you've never articulated it, you know from your knowledge of Scripture, oh, that wouldn't be appropriate to do because Jesus is the Lamb of God. And John the Baptist said, behold the Lamb of God. And the book of, as you say, the book of Hebrews, which really helps us with these questions, tells us that all that is done. And Jesus said, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. And so Jesus is the Lamb, and he's our access. He's our high priest, and he's our access to the Holy of Holies. And so all those types and shadows are gone. So those temporary, typological, illustrative things that were done under the Mosaic institution of worship all those things are done, and they weren't intended to be replicated, and they weren't given to us as sort of opportunities to imitate them in worship.
Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow for more from the Heidelcast, brought to you by HeidelbergReformationAssociation.org. Don't forget, when the coin in the coffer clinks, the cost of bandwidth shrinks. Copyright Heidelberg Reformation Association. All rights reserved. This is a Heidel Media production.
The best podcast